Think about the witches we've encountered in the pages of our favorite books or on the silver screen, the wicked witches of our childhood fairy tales with their pointed hats and cackling laughter, the benevolent witches who use their powers for good, teaching us about kindness and courage, and of course, the modern witches of fantasy, empowered and independent, breaking stereotypes and redefining what it means to be a witch. These representations, as varied as they are, all tap into a common fascination with the power and potential of witchcraft. They play on our curiosity of the unknown, our desire for power, our fear of the dark, and our hope for magic in a world often too mundane. But witches aren't just figments of our imagination or characters in a story. They've been real individuals, often women, who have been revered, feared, misunderstood, and persecuted throughout history. And today, they are also people who choose to identify with this ancient practice, adopting it as a part of their identity, their belief system, their way of life. So why does witchcraft continue to enchant us? Perhaps it's the allure of the unknown, the thrill of the supernatural, or simply the human penchant for stories that push the boundaries of our reality. But to truly understand witchcraft, we must journey back to its roots. Let's embark on this journey together as we unravel the captivating enigma that is witchcraft. The roots of witchcraft sink deep into the soil of our past, intertwined with the very birth of civilization. Our journey begins thousands of years ago, when the world was a vast, uncharted mystery. Our ancestors, in their quest to understand and navigate this enigma, turned to nature, to the stars, the plants, and the elements. They believed in a world teeming with spirits and forces beyond their comprehension. They practiced what we now call witchcraft, a blend of spirituality, mysticism, and naturalism. They drew on the power of natural elements, concocted potions from herbs, and invoked the spirits of the earth and sky. These practices were not seen as evil or nefarious, but rather as a means to connect with, understand, and influence the world around them. In ancient pagan societies, witchcraft was an integral part of life. The witch was the village healer, the wise woman, the conduit between the physical and spiritual worlds. They were revered, not reviled, for their knowledge and abilities. From the frozen tundras of Siberia to the dense jungles of South America, indigenous cultures also developed their own forms of witchcraft. They believed in animism, the concept that all things, not just humans, possess a spirit. Shamans and medicine men, like the witches of old, served as the bridge between the human and spirit worlds. These early forms of witchcraft were based on respect for nature and the cycle of life and death. They celebrated the changing seasons, the phases of the moon, and the rhythms of the earth. Magic was not a tool for personal gain or power, but a way to maintain balance and harmony in the world. But as societies evolved, so did their perceptions of witchcraft. The rise of organized religions brought new beliefs and values, often at odds with the old ways. Witchcraft, once revered, became associated with heresy and evil. The witch, once the wise woman or shaman, was now seen as a threat. As civilizations grew, so did the fear and misunderstanding of witchcraft. The ancient roots of witchcraft, tangled and deep, would soon become the target of suspicion and persecution. But that's a tale for another time. In the shadow of ignorance, fear takes hold. Thus began the infamous witch hunts. As we delve into the Middle Ages and the early modern period, we find societies gripped by a fear so potent, it led to the ruthless persecution of those believed to be witches. The witch hunts were not a simple matter of superstition. They were complex events, intertwined with social, political, and religious factors. In a time of plague, famine, and war, people sought to make sense of the chaos. Witches became convenient scapegoats, blamed for misfortunes that were poorly understood. This fear was not confined to Europe. Across the Atlantic, the infamous Salem witch trials rocked the New England colonies. In 1692, a small Puritan settlement was thrown into turmoil when a group of young girls claimed to be possessed by the devil and accused several local women of witchcraft. The ensuing hysteria resulted in the execution of 20 innocent people, a grim testament to the power of fear and the fragility of social order. But why did these witch hunts occur? At their core, they were a manifestation of societal anxiety. The world was changing rapidly. The Reformation had shattered the religious unity of Europe, causing political instability and sectarian violence. In the New World, colonists faced the dual pressures of establishing new lives in a harsh and unfamiliar environment, while also dealing with the constant threat of conflict with the native population. In such tumultuous times, the witch hunts provided a means of restoring a semblance of order, albeit through brutal and misguided means. And let's not forget the role of gender in these witch hunts. The majority of those accused were women, often those who defied societal norms or posed a threat to the male-dominated power structure. The persecution of witches was, in many ways, a persecution of powerful and independent women. In the face of persecution, witchcraft was driven underground, but it was far from extinguished. Even as the flames of the witch hunts died down, the embers of witchcraft smoldered in the shadows, ready to ignite once more in a world more accepting of its magic. In the shadows of society, witchcraft evolved, emerging in the 20th century as a symbol of female empowerment and spiritual exploration. This shift ushered in a new era, characterized by the re-emergence of witchcraft, not cloaked in secrecy but celebrated and embraced in the daylight. The 20th century saw the rapid rise of Wicca, a modern pagan witchcraft religion. It was introduced by Gerald Gardner in the 1950s, drawing on older pagan traditions and infusing them with contemporary spiritual ideas. The attraction of Wicca lies in its flexibility. It promotes a deep connection with nature, celebrates the divine feminine, and encourages individual spiritual expression. But Wicca is just one branch on the tree of modern witchcraft. Other neo-pagan traditions have also flourished. Some focus on reconstruction, attempting to revive ancient pagan religions as accurately as possible. Others are more eclectic, borrowing from a variety of traditions to create something entirely new. In fact, modern witchcraft has become a melting pot of spiritual paths. It's a place where ancient deities meet modern sensibilities, where traditional rituals are adapted to fit contemporary life. The appeal of this is far-reaching, especially for those seeking an alternative to mainstream religions. Witchcraft today is not about conforming to a rigid set of beliefs or practices. It's about personal exploration and connection. It's about finding your own path, your own truth, and walking it with courage. It's about empowerment, about reclaiming your personal power and using it to shape your world. In contemporary culture, witchcraft has found its place, not as a fringe element, but as a legitimate spiritual path. It's a path that respects diversity, cherishes the earth, and celebrates the power of the individual. It's a path that invites you to explore, to question, to grow. Modern witchcraft is not about fear or secrecy anymore. It's about community, about coming together to celebrate and support each other. It's about embracing the magic within us and the magic in the world around us. Witchcraft has endured, evolving from ancient rituals into a modern spiritual movement. It has moved from the shadows into the light, and in doing so, it has become a beacon for those seeking a different way to understand and interact with the world. So you wish to walk the path of the witch? The journey is as unique as the individual. Embarking on this mystical adventure, you'll find that the first step is always knowledge. Immerse yourself in the lore, the practices, and the philosophies of witchcraft. Study the ancient roots, understand the witch hunts, and appreciate the modern witch. Next, you'll venture into the realm of meditation. This is where you'll connect with the energies around you, tapping into the natural world and your inner self. As you cultivate your understanding, you'll discover your unique brand of witchcraft. Remember, witchcraft isn't a one-size-fits-all journey. It's a deeply personal exploration, a path that you carve out for yourself, guided by your own beliefs, interests, and experiences. As we've seen, witchcraft is a rich and complex tradition, steeped in history and shrouded in mystery. Whether you're drawn to its spiritual aspects or simply fascinated by its history, there's no denying the allure of the witch's path.